Welcome, HH Renovation Nation. This is the ReModCast with your host, Norm Rieger.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that?
I like it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, not bad. Episode 3, and we already got intro music and sound effects. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Just warming up.
All right,
Warming up.
Good.
So yes, everyone, we are live here on the newly named ReModCast. We welcome all you from the HH Renovation Nation. We have a lot to talk about. And as always, we are live. So if you at home have a question, comment, or concern, you can put it in the comment section and we can answer it live with you today. Norm, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Nice. So we got a lot to talk about. We're probably midway through the summer, so people have time to think about what they want to do with their home. And I would assume that people are starting to think about or maybe plan a large renovation. So what does that look like?
Well, we always hound when I get a chance to speak to people who are in groups about preparation. You got to plan in advance, especially if we're talking about a large renovation, like a home expansion, an addition, something large scale. Planning for a bathroom is a little different. Planning for a kitchen is a little different, but planning for a large renovation, you definitely have to plan ahead, and there's a lot of steps to it. So, for example, most people don't know what a large renovation is going to cost. They have an idea in mind. They want to add a level. They want to bump out the back of their house, whatever their idea is. The best thing you should do is talk to a contractor or builder first before you hire an architect. You want to talk to somebody to make sure that your idea is in the general range of your budget, and it's something that you want to accomplish. You could fall in love with the idea of adding a second level to your house, but if in your head your budget is $200,000 and the actual cost of the project on average is $400,000, then you're going to be heading for some heartbreak, and you might own a set of architectural drawings that you can't do anything with. So talk to a builder first. That's step one in the planning phase. Now, if the builder or the contractor speaks to you and gives you those numbers that make sense to you, now you want to hire an architect, because the architect's going to help you and make sure that what you want to do is permittable zoning wise. Every municipality has different zoning laws based on your lot size and a lot of complicated factors. So an architect is well versed in those. They'll let you know if the project you want to do is permissible, and if it's not permissible, you could always get what's called a variance. So a variance is permission to break a zoning law for a very specific purpose. So I want to add a second floor to my house, but I live on a corner lot, and my house was built in the 50s, and my side yard is only 20 feet from the curb, but it's supposed to be 30. So what you have to do is you have to apply for what's called a variance, and you go before the board in your town. And most of the time, for reasonable things, they do grant variances like that so that you can proceed with your planning.
I got a very, very short story for you. When I was a kid, we were putting an addition on our house, and my parents, I guess, had to get a variance, or they had to bend the rules or whatever, and the town, was not letting them do it. So all the neighbors went one night to a town hall meeting or whatever. They were like, let them do it. And finally we got permission. But yeah, every single one of our neighbors, from the whole block, even the ones that weren't touching our house, they were all came what's the problem? Let them do it.
Well, it's interesting. Part of the process now, and I don't know what it was then, is you're required to send out certified letters to everyone within, I think it's 200 yards of your property. So your neighbors have to be notified so that they have an opportunity to speak either on your behalf or against you at the variance hearing. So they get notifications so they can attend, voice their opinion. Now, just because a neighbor doesn't want you to do what you want to do doesn't mean that the board's going to deny it. They just take all the factors in and weigh it in to make that decision. So that's the general process of a variance. So let's say now we've talked to a builder, you got your budget, you hired an architect, he made sure you could do what you want to do without a variance or got you a variance. Now the architect's going to create various stages of drawings. It's not just they don't just whip out a big set of drawings and say, hey, we're done. So they create first that are like renderings for you. Do you like the look of this? Do you like the look at that? Do you like the size of this bedroom? Do you want the staircase over here? So you're going to spend some time with the architect, and they're going to give you some renderings. The next step after renderings is to go to what's called construction drawings. But I encourage you to go call that builder or that contractor that you liked working with back at the time of renderings, because sometimes architects draw things that are overcomplicated or maybe in an expensive fashion. So you want to put that rendering in front of a builder like me, and I'm going to tell you, hey, did you really want this hip style roof, or did the architect just draw this by default? Because if you change to a regular gable style roof, maybe we can save you $7,000. So you want to get a builder back in the process before you tell the architect, go ahead and complete the drawings, make them construction drawings, because we have time to change without them charging you for a revision if we make those changes before they go to final drawings. So that's part of the process. Now you're going to hire your builder, and you put your plans out to bid. You select your contractor from, don't get 10 bids, people. Don't get 10 bids. Usually a good number to price check is 3. Some people get as many as 5. But if you're getting more than that, then you're just shooting for a number, right? You're just going to keep asking the question until somebody tells you what you want to hear, and most likely you're going to lead to a not so great outcome if that's your process. Get 3 to 5 bids on a large renovation. You're going to find bids are all over the place. They're really hard to sort out. Everybody bids differently. It'd be better if there was some universal form, right? But that's not going to happen. So you're going to get some contractors bid. They don't even include a kitchen. They say, this is my price, but doesn't include a kitchen. Why? Because a lot of people on the high-end builds hire a kitchen company separate from the general contractor to either manufacture, supply, and install the kitchen. So it's common practice when you're at a $500,000 renovation to literally leave the kitchen out. I don't. We include the kitchen, but that's why when you get these bids from contractors, you'll be like, oh wow, Norm, this guy had like an appliance package, but you left appliances out. Everybody bids it different. So your most difficult job as a homeowner when picking your contractor, aside from price, is also going to be sorting through the bids, seeing what's included and what's not, how to compare apples to apples. And it's a job, and there's no easy answer for it. But after you compare your bids, you hopefully want to pick somebody not just by number, but maybe by reputation, who you feel comfortable having in your home, who you feel like knows what they're talking about. Because in my industry, I'm going to let you in on a little trade secret. Anybody can be a general contractor. You can get an insurance policy tomorrow, and you could advertise that you are a general contractor once you file for a New Jersey home improvement registration number. It's not even a license, it's a registration number. So anybody could say they're a general contractor. There's no qualifications. So a plumber, an electrician, an HVAC person, they have to pass a test. They have to have years of apprenticeship proven before they can become a licensed plumber or electrician.
Interesting.
Anybody can be a general contractor. So just because someone says they're a general contractor doesn't mean they have experience or qualification or knowledge. So you really want to interview your contractor to vet out whether they're a good contractor, not just somebody calling themselves a general contractor. All right, and then it's time to move forward. You've hired your contractor. You sort through the contract, which is an important part that people forget about. Contractors are called contractors because we supply a contract to produce something for a home improvement project. Mine happens to be like 12 to 14 pages, believe it or not, because New Jersey has this thing called the Consumer Protection Act, which is super punitive against general contractors. So if it's to protect the public. So I have my contract geared to reflect the requirements of the New Jersey Consumer Protection Act. So now you signed your contract. What do we do next? Well, when are we going to start? Are we starting in 3 months? Are we starting in 6 months? Well, we've talked before. There's certain things you have to order well in advance. You got to order your windows from the beginning. You have to start your appliances. You want to get your appliances. You remember from last episode. Very good. You want to get those appliances ordered, or at least so you can have the specification sheet so we can begin to design the kitchen, like we said. And those are things you want to do in advance. Now, you got a million things to choose as your project gets closer. You need to pick every light fixture, every tile, every cabinetry, the color of your hardwood floors, the shapes of your moldings, the types of doors, the color of your door hardware. There's a million things you have to check to choose. So my company provides at HH, we provide you with these information sheets that tells you what to shop for, when. Because you may be excited, your wife wants to shop for countertops, but I don't really want countertops being selected as a priority. They're coming way at the end of the job. I need you shopping for cabinetry. I need you shopping for plumbing fixtures that are going to go inside the wall. So we coach you through all that because you wouldn't know. So it's our job to help you. I have a project manager assigned to your job. I have preferred vendors that we trust and we work with every week that we could send you to. No obligation to buy through my people, but if you do, it tends to go a little smoother because we have a relationship. So we're going to tell you where to go, what to shop for, when, and other things we talked about. You have to choose your siding type, you have to choose your siding color, you have to choose your roofing color. Do you want white gutters? Do you want colored gutters? You don't even think of some of these things. So we help you. That's part of what we do as a general contractor is we give you the information and basically the roadmap so that you can navigate it on the way up to the start of your renovation.
Awesome. So, one thing that you touched on before, you're picking your bid, you're picking your general contractor. Are there any red flags or things that would stick out when people are getting their, 3 to 5 bids that be like a red flag? Like, no, that's definitely one you don't want to go to, or that's a star. Like, oh, that's a really good point that if you see that person's know what they're talking about. Like, is there anything that the average person is going to be going out there they can just like see and be like, it's a good idea or a bad idea to use this person?
I mean, some of the ones are obvious. I think to me, obviously, you want to check online reviews because online reviews are plentiful right now. You could also go into Facebook community groups and you don't even have to ask the question. You can go into the search box of Bergen County moms or, Montvale families or Glen Rockers. You just go in there and go into the search bar and type the company's name in. You're going to see either really positive things said about that person, really negative things said about that firm, or what might be worse, nothing. So if there's no information, that means you probably should start drilling a little deeper. You want to vet insurance. Not only everybody says fully insured. That's usually a lie. Not everybody's fully insured. Everybody might have the general liability insurance that they're required to have to keep their license or their registration number, but not everybody carries workers' comp insurance. Not everybody carries a liability umbrella. Not everybody will name you. This is important, people. Ask your contractor to name you as additionally insured. So what that means is that a lot of contractors buy an insurance policy to get their registration number and then they cancel it. Well, if you're named as additionally insured, the insurance company has to notify you, the homeowner now, if the contractor cancels their insurance, if the contractor changes their insurance. And it also gives you the ability to file an insurance claim without the contractor's permission if you get into a situation where something goes really wrong.
Nice.
So obviously those are some red flags. Some positive things is, look, if a good contractor knows how to read a set of blueprints and you hand them plans, they're usually going to have suggestions or ideas or questions, and you'll get the feeling that, wow, this guy or girl really knows what they're talking about. They understand the complexities of the job. I really feel confident in their abilities by the questions they're asking. Why did we put the staircase here? Hey, this gable roof might save you some money. Those are things that'll stand out as, hey, I feel pretty good about this person. And you also want to ask about the process because not everybody does it the same way. Ask about the logistics. How does the job get run? How's the communication? How's the site protection? Those are important questions to interview your general contractor. If you're just looking for a number, you're looking for trouble. I mean, that's the best way to put it. If you're looking for just a number, you're looking for trouble. A number's important, right? We all don't have unlimited budgets. You're going to get some really, really high bids for people that are just swinging for the fences, hoping something sticks. You're going to get some really low bids. That should be a red flag because if something seems too good to be true, we all know it usually is. But so base your decision hopefully on the number as well as their availability when they can start, how long they say the job's going to take, interview them about their process. How are they going to help you through the job and before the job and during the job, and will they come back after the job? And all of those factors should be used in determining and selecting your contractor, in my opinion.
Awesome. Great stuff. So we picked our contractor. We're getting ready to go. Now we're starting to strategize what we want to do. Do you see any trends that are happening? So like I see a lot of renovation going on in this area by our studio, and like a lot of people are like maybe putting on another level to their home or adding an addition. Are there any like trends that are happening that you're seeing in the renovation world?
Well, what you said is sort of the trend now, and interest rates, believe it or not, are helping that. So you would say, wow, that's, might be contradictory to how I would have looked at it. But if you own in this area, just use a median number, you own a $500,000 house. And let's say you have a significant mortgage on that $500,000 house, but you refinanced 3 years ago at 2.5%. So now now you can afford a bigger house. Your family's getting bigger. Maybe you're making more money. You want a bigger home. Well, when you sell that $500,000 house and now you go buy that $900,000 house, now you're paying 7, 8, 9% interest
Mm-hmm.
on $1 million, where you
Mm-hmm.
before you were paying 2% interest on a $500,000.
True.
So what makes more sense? You keep your mortgage, you take a construction loan or a home equity loan enough to do an expansion, add that second level,
Mm-hmm.
bump out and put the great room on, and now you're paying interest on just what you're adding. You're not paying interest on a whole new home purchase at a much, much higher rate. Another trend I'm getting, actually, that now that you mention it, is outside covered porch spaces. When someone's physically building an addition with no walls but
Mm-hmm.
just a roof to entertain, they're putting outdoor kitchens, patios, pizza ovens,
Nice.
gigantic sports screens. This product called Phantom Screens that automatically screens come down on all four sides.
What?
So we're doing a lot more of those now. I'd say we might even do 3 this year, which is
Nice.
unheard of for us.
Yeah.
It's becoming much more trendy for people
Mm-hmm.
to spend money, significant money,
Mm-hmm.
on their outdoor spaces so that they can enjoy 3 seasons outside in their backyard.
Yeah.
Big screen TV. They're watching football out there.
Mm-hmm.
People, maybe smoke cigars.
Yeah.
People who have parties and want to have outside. So that's a big trend that's happening right now, is outdoor covered patio spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I still think we're just coming off like the the COVID season, and like people want to spend time at their homes and have people over and put money into their home because they were stuck in there for
Yeah.
a while.
And like I said, sometimes it's cheaper to put the money into your home than to sell it and buy something that already has it,
Yeah.
because interest rates right now, if you're lucky enough to have the
Mm-hmm.
lower ones, it's going to be painful to change.
Yeah.
It almost changes it does. It changes physically what you can afford.
Yeah. And it's crazy, we're going through it right now. We have a new family and we're looking to expand and get a home. And there's a plot of land right across the street from the studio. It's just land, not even a house on it. $600,000.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're here in Wyckoff, New Jersey, folks, and that's what a piece of dirt
Yeah,
costs.
it's a piece of dirt. So yeah, if you already have a home and instead of buying a new one, why don't you renovate the one you got and make it to your wants and needs?
That's good for everybody. Good for you. Good for me.
Absolutely. Awesome. So we want to remind you guys again, we are live. So if you have a question, comment, or concern, you could put it in the comment section. We can answer it live with you today. So we made our strategy. We got our design going. So what happens now? What's the process? You guys start and you come in, or you just knocking everything over, or I'm sure you have a process, right?
We do. I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, like smaller renovations now,
Okay.
because the bigger renovations, most of the time you're moving out. What I want to talk about a little bit is how we take care of your home if you're living there, because not everybody moves
Mhm.
out for every type of renovation.
Yep.
So if you're just remodeling your kitchen, you're
Mhm.
remodeling your master bath, you're finishing your basement, you're
Mhm.
usually not moving out of the house.
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but it's not necessary.
Mhm.
Living through a renovation is tough. I'm doing it right now at my own house, and it is tough because you got workers at your house every day.
Mhm.
All the stuff that's in the area that you're renovating is now shoved somewhere else. And if
Mhm.
you're renovating your kitchen, that means you got a refrigerator plugged in your living room somewhere. You got a makeshift microwave set up on a folding table somewhere so you
Mhm.
can warm something up, maybe a coffee maker if you're lucky. And it's tough. It's tough to live through. But I will say, what we do, I think, a lot better than everybody else is the preparation and the protection of your home. Look, we know you have family, you have kids, you have pets.
Mhm.
We have to make sure we can renovate in the least painful way possible, and I think we do that really, really well. People forget the first part of every renovation, not new home construction, but
Mhm.
the first part of every renovation is demolition. Right?
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you're gonna remodel a room, you got to demo what's there,
Mhm.
and what goes along with demolition: noise, destruction, dust. So you want to pick a contractor and say, well, what do you do? And if they just say, well, I put down drop cloths, that's good if you're a painter.
Mhm.
That's not good for renovation. It's not good enough.
Mhm.
So we at HH, we set up plastic zip walls to make tunnels in and out of the house. So when we're
Mhm.
carrying the dusty debris, everything else isn't getting dusted. We physically put plastic and tape over every doorway that's not being renovated to seal it so the
Mhm.
dust isn't going under or through the cracks. We spend a lot of money out of equipment. We have air scrubbers, the kind of air scrubbers they use after a fire. We actually run those during demolition to clean the dust out of the air while we're working. We also use those when we're doing drywall because of the same reason. There's dust.
Mm-hmm.
We put down special runners that you can go up and down stairs without slipping, and we protect your carpets, your staircases, your hardwood floors. If you have hardwood floors that you're not refinishing and we have to walk through them as part of the renovation and the demolition,
Mm-hmm.
we put down a special plywood called masonite. It's a very smooth plywood. It's not rough. It's a smooth, hard surface. And what that does, besides protect your floor from things dropping on it, it also, unlike a drop cloth, if someone drops a knife or a hammer or a tool and you had a drop cloth down, well,
Mm-hmm.
it's still going to
Nick it.
dent. It's going to
Yeah.
nick the floor. By us putting down this masonite product, it protects the floor from tools getting dropped, from ladders falling over. So we go well beyond what most
Mm-hmm.
contractors do to protect the rest of your home from the renovation that we're doing.
So that would be a great question to ask when you're picking one, because that would be maybe your red flag if they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna put a couple drop costs down, and that might also reflect on the price. Like the lower end guys, yeah, I'm just gonna throw some drop cost down, where you guys are putting down another layer of protection wood that doesn't damage the floor.
We do it really well. I
Nice.
mean, we do. It's something else that we started doing during COVID that we've carried on. So let me backtrack. You guys drive around, you see big construction sites. What's the little thing building you see out in front of every construction site?
Porta potty.
Porta potty, bingo. So we used to only put porta potties on job sites that were mostly like new home construction or nobody was living at the house because by law, as employers, we have to provide a place for employees to go to the bathroom. Makes
Mhm.
sense, right? But during COVID, because everybody was a little scared and germs and employees were scared, homeowners were scared, we at HH, we took on the expense of putting a porta potty outside of every renovation.
Mhm.
And you know what? It just makes life simpler because whether you're doing a kitchen or a bathroom, there's probably 3 or 4 trades, different companies working in your house. It's going to be an electrician, a plumber, maybe a tile mechanic, maybe a drywall company, demolition company. We can't monitor everyone's bathroom habits that works for us or
Mhm.
subcontractors that work for us. So by putting the porta potty out there and designating it for construction workers' use, we don't have to worry about making sure that your bathroom is clean at the end of the day. We don't have to worry about people worried about germs or cleanliness. The
Mhm.
porta potty, we spend the money. So if you're doing a bathroom renovation for 2 months, I pay for a porta potty to be outside your house for 2 months. That's an extra expense we take on. We don't charge it to you,
Mhm.
but it's just something that we do above and beyond to make the process smoother and protect your home, especially the parts we're not renovating.
Awesome. Great stuff. Again, we are live. Questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comments section. So with all these actually, you know what? Let me go. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So we have the full large renovation. You're doing like the whole home. You need to get a hotel. You need to move out for a time period.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the small one where it's just a piece that we're renovating. So we just move everything out. Is there a middle one where like you're doing a large renovation in pieces? Where like, all right, this today we're doing the kitchen, and then like 2 or 3 months from now we're moving everything into the kitchen to do the living room. Like, are those even an option? So like you don't have to move out. Maybe you're renovating like the whole home in pieces, or that's like something like that's not a good idea.
Look, sometimes it's something we have to do because people don't have a place to go. Let's
Mm-hmm.
say the kids are in the school system, they can't find or can't afford a long-term lease
Mm-hmm.
in the town so that the kids can stay in school.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have in-laws or family to stay with, and they don't want to pay for a hotel for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to do it that way. It's more costly. It's also more painful.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm doing renovation in my own home right now, and I'm only about a month and a half into it, and I want everybody out of my house already. I have renovation fatigue. I have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
empathy now, people, for what I do to you because I'm doing it to me. And when you elongate a project like that, there's additional costs associated with it, right? So if we were doing your kitchen and your master bathroom and your living room all at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to get a dumpster at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That porta potty is going to only be there for 2 or 3 months.
Yep.
We are going to have one set of plumbing inspections, one set of electrical inspections. The plumber is going to put all the plumbing at the same time. The HVAC is doing all the HVAC at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
When you break a project into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, for the purpose of the example you gave,
Mm-hmm.
it adds cost to the project and it also elongates it significantly. So now that porta potty is in front of your house for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in and out of your house and you're having conversations with me and my team for 12 months. And after 3 or 4 months, as good as your contractor is, you want them gone. and
Mhm.
our job is to get gone and get paid as quick as possible.
Yep.
It's a win-win for everybody. People are always afraid that you're not going to do the job as quick as possible because they hear those horror stories of contractors taking deposits and then working on different jobs and not their job.
Mhm.
I guess if you're a contractor that bids wrong, maybe you take a job at a super low price because you're worried you're not going to have any work, and then you get a job at a better price, so you're not very respectful to the first job. I
Mhm.
guess it could happen. We don't operate that way. We have one price point that we always operate on, and our job is to get everybody to the finish line as quick as possible so that you're happy and we get paid. And that's just our rule of thumb. So we don't start jobs and leave and go attend something else. We run multiple job sites at the same time because
Mhm.
that's what we have to do. We're a medium sized company now,
Mhm.
but we don't start your project and leave it vacant or with work not happening. There's always going to be a day or two, but reasonably we start your project and we work it to the end.
Awesome. So you guys are taking care of the whole house, working it to the end. You got to assemble the right group of people. It must be tough to show attention to each part of the house. How do you assemble your crew? Like, do you have a special like an electrician, a plumber? Like, what? How does that look? What does that look like?
All right, good. I'm glad you asked, Doug, because when I go to do estimates at people's houses, sometimes I get asked the question and I answer the question, but it's not what they're asking. So they say, "So do you do the job yourself, or do you have a lot of subcontractors?" So I know they don't really think, "Do I do the job myself?" I'm the owner of the company. I'm at a point in where I'm not physically swinging a hammer anymore. But what they're asking is, "Are you a project manager that just goes out and gets a bunch of subcontractors to do this job,
Mm-hmm.
and you're really not doing it?"
Mm-hmm.
No, it's really a hybrid. As a general contractor, we need to have subcontractors that we use, right? Because you need a licensed electrician. I'm not a licensed electrician.
Mm-hmm.
You need an HVAC company. I have 5 or 6 regular employees, but we're more like carpenters. My employees that wear my shirts that say HH Remodeling on them, we're hanging doors, we're hanging cabinetry, we're fixing small sheetrock repairs, we're doing all the trim molding, we're doing the site preparation, we're putting down vinyl flooring. There's a bunch of things we do, but we still need subcontractors to accomplish any large renovation. But we're not taking your project and going out and seeking bids.
Mm-hmm.
We're using our team of subcontractors that
Mm-hmm.
we've vetted over the years and
Mm-hmm.
whittled down to the A team,
Mm-hmm.
because we've gone through some B players. You never know until you work with somebody how they're going to be.
Yep.
But we got the A team now. We have electricians, we have tile mechanics, we have drywall companies, we have
Mm-hmm.
framers, roofers, excavators, siders. They're all subcontractors, but
Mm-hmm.
we also have our own employees, our own construction manager, our own back of the house project manager. So you're getting a full package.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we did new this year is we acquired one of our own subcontractors. So right now, HH Remodeling Company is now the owner of a new company called HH Plumbing and Heating LLC.
Nice.
So, we want to be your plumber too now. And the cool thing about HH Plumbing and Heating that's different than HH Remodeling is
Mm-hmm.
you don't need all that planning ahead. So I'm constantly telling people, we plan ahead, plan ahead. We're booking 3 to 5 months
Mm-hmm.
out. But if you have a toilet that's running or a clogged sink or a water heater that went bad, you can't wait 3 to 5 months. And that's where we at HH Plumbing and Heating, we can handle that right away. We take service calls. We could usually attend to emergencies within 24 or 48 hours. We do not have after hours service or 24-hour emergency service. We're still operating in somewhat normal business hours,
Mm-hmm.
but we want to be your plumber. We want to take care of all your plumbing needs, your hot water boilers, your hot water heaters, your tankless water heaters, your leaky faucets, your running toilets, your clogged sinks and tubs. We want to be your plumber and do all that. So one of my subcontractors is also me.
Awesome. Great stuff. So, it's not like you're just going around, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? You basically brought all these subcontractors basically in-house. They're basically all part of your A team. And it's not like you're shopping around jobs. Like, all right, we got a job. The team's coming to do it.
Yeah, it's the whole team. These are people that we like. They all know each other.
Yeah.
So all the subcontractors,
Not their first rodeo.
not their first rodeo. They're used to working in the same house with our team. It's part of the HH Remodeling Group. I like to
Mhm.
refer to myself as HH
Yeah.
Remodeling Group sometimes because
Mhm.
that's what I feel we are. We have HH Remodeling Company. We had Hawthorne Handyman. We now have HH Plumbing and Heating, and we're always willing to grow.
Mhm.
If you know anybody that's selling their electric company or their hardwood floors or their painters, give us a call. We could talk.
Awesome. great stuff, and it's great that you have a new division now in plumbing. Any new updates on that? Anything you want to share about the plumbing division?
No, well, we partnered up with a 20-plus-year experienced master plumber who's had several plumbing companies throughout his career,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seemed like a good fit. He was kind of exclusively working for HH Remodeling for a while, and we came to a business agreement so that we have 20 years experience. We have 4 plumbing trucks on the road right now.
Nice.
So we have 4 employees, 4 vans, and we're servicing northern Bergen County and northern Passaic County mostly. So I can say northern New Jersey is probably safe for our territory. We
Mm-hmm.
don't get down to a lot of Essex or Hudson, but Bergen County and Passaic keeps us busy enough. So if you're in northern New Jersey and you need a plumbing estimate or a service call, you can call us.
Awesome. Great stuff. So yeah, I mean, we kind of went through the whole process, start to finish, from planning, protecting the home, picking out a contractor, and the electrical, the plumbing. Anything else you want to touch base on today?
Okay, sure. I think one of the things that HH Remodeling Company and we do really well that other contractors may not be great at, because let's say that we all do good craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my competition, we all hang a cabinet really well. We hang the sheetrock really well. We put trim molding up. We paint really neat. What do we do a little bit better? So we already talked about site protection, right? I think we do that really well. What we do really well also is communication. If you read our Google reviews, a lot of people are saying, "Hey, Norm and Don. Don is my construction manager.
Mm-hmm.
Norm and Don were great. They kept us informed." And you should ask your contractors that when you're interviewing them. Again, if you're just looking for a number, you're looking for trouble. Ask your contractor, well, how do you handle the process? What's the typical work week look like? We're going to email you or text you every week and let you know what the schedule is that week. We're going to say, hey, plumber's coming on Monday, electrician's coming on Tuesday. Unfortunately, nobody's coming Wednesday because we have a service call, but the plumber's coming back on Thursday. Why that's important? Because I never want you to have to call me to say, hey, Norm, it's 10 o'clock. Is anybody coming today? Because if you have to, then I'm not doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to prophylactically keep you aware of what's going to be happening in your house. Hey, we have a building inspection on Friday. We have the insulation going in on next Monday. Then we have an insulation inspection on Wednesday. The drywall is being delivered Friday. It's my job to keep you posted. You need to know what's going on. And we also spend a lot of time being interactive. So just because we have a blueprint or a drawing doesn't mean we just execute that without question. We need your input as the homeowner. You might not have spent hours with the architect putting every light fixture and every light switch where you want it on a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
but we do that with you on site. So we have the plan. It's a guideline. It's a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
But if the plan says, hey, you're supposed to have 8 recessed lights in this bedroom and we're walking around with you, we're going to say, hey, I recommend you might only need 6. And the architect drew a switch, but maybe you might want a dimmer. Oh, okay. Is this your family room? Yeah. Are you going to mount a TV on this wall? Yeah. Well, it's not on the plan, but would you like us to put an outlet up in the middle of the wall so you could plug a TV in?
Nice.
Hey, great. So we're very interactive. Our construction manager spends a lot of time with you. You're planning out a bathroom. Do you want a niche in the shower? Oh, what's that? Well, it's that little alcove where you put shampoo and stuff. Oh, I do. Yeah, I want one of those. Well, how big do you want it? Where do you want it? Do you want it on the side wall? Do you want it on the front wall? You want it long and horizontal? Do you want it square? Do you need shelves in it? We spend time with you on the job. Project management, communication, planning, interacting. That's what we do very well.
Nice. So it brings up a great question. You have the plan. You're walking around with them. Instead of 8 lights, we want 6. Instead of the plug on the floor, we want in the middle, right? So we're doing these changes. What changes are good to go? What changes do you need to present to the town, or I'm sure there's things like putting the outlet on the middle of the wall, probably not a big deal, but we're gonna push out another foot on the whole property, a bigger deal. So what changes of the blueprint and plan need to be stuck by, and what can be changed at willy-nilly?
That's a really good question. So let's use some of your examples. Pushing out, making the house a little bigger on the property, that we can't do at all. That has to go back through zoning approval. That's not even something we can get by the building department because the zoning has to approve that. So that's a major change. That involves the architect, that involves the town. Now, there's other changes that we could do that still need the town involved, but aren't super complicated. So let's say, for example, we had a big beam up hanging out of the ceiling between your kitchen and your living room, and you wanted to make that go away. You're like, oh, I really wish the ceiling was one ceiling straight across. I don't want to see that, what we call a drop beam. Some people
Mhm.
call it a header. Well, we can go to the architect, have him specify, the architect or the engineer, what size beam that we need to provide to recess it up into the ceiling.
Mhm.
So then the architect or the engineer would provide a letter to the town that they authorized and certified this particular size beam
Mhm.
and location.
Mhm.
And when the building inspector comes to inspect the plan and says, hey, this beam wasn't on the plan, we now have that letter to say, but you're right,
Gotcha.
it's not. It was a change, and here it is.
Mhm.
Your question also brings up another really good question. And that's what I thought you were going to ask. I thought you were going to say, Norm, so you talked about these changes. You're going from 6 lights to 8 lights to 6 lights. We're going to add an outlet on the wall. Which ones are included and which ones cost more money?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So that's what we call in the industry change orders. There's actually a law about how we have to execute change orders. Believe it or not,
Really?
for a change order to be valid, I have to do it in writing, and you have to pay me for it before I do it. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
usually happen that way.
Uh-huh.
So we put a lot of trust in our customers. We hope that if you ask us to do something, as long as we don't surprise you, we're not going to give you a surprise bill at the end for things you weren't expecting. That's
Mhm.
just not the way we operate.
Mhm.
But if you say, hey, let's do the light in a different way. Hey, Norm, the architect only drew one light in the center of the room, but I would like 4 recessed lights. I would say, okay, well, I'm going to give you an estimate for that. So
Mhm.
the estimate to add those 4 recessed lights is $600. Would you like to do it? Yes, please
Mhm.
do it. I'll probably make you email me or text me so we have
Mhm.
some proof that
Mhm.
you said it's okay that you're going to pay the additional $600.
Mhm.
And that's what we call a change order. Whereas something like moving an outlet from here to there, we probably wouldn't charge you for that. But if we ended up moving 15 of them because you asked me to,
Mhm.
even if we put them where we were supposed to on the plan, but you wanted me to move 15, I may have to ask you for a change order on something like that. So we can absorb some small changes,
Mhm.
and other changes we have to charge for. So that's an estimate and a change order.
And I'm assuming sometimes when they have to pay for this first, it's to protect the homeowner. So at the end of the job, they're not surprised, like, oh, look at these change orders and you didn't fulfill, you have to pay for all these change orders. And like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
So if they're paid
well,
for
it
up
also
front.
protects the contractor, because if the homeowner at the end of the job says you have to pay for all these change orders, and they say, "What do you mean?" then the contractor's kind of stuck. We did the work, but now
Yeah.
you're disputing paying for the additional work, and nobody
Hmm.
wants that. Look,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not about the money. To me, it's about reputation.
Hmm.
So I want, at the end of your job, you to be super happy. I want you to write me a 5-star Google review. I want you to say great things about me in your Facebook community.
Hmm.
So we try not to let petty money things get in the way of the bigger picture, right? A lot of contractors can't do that. We can zoom out. Sometimes it's okay if I lose $100, because at the end of the day, I'm doing the right thing to make you happy. And I don't want to give away money. Let's not get that wrong. But the goal is for you to be satisfied with this overall scope of work. And if you paid for this overall scope of work and you're super happy with us, there's negotiation possible on small things. And that's just good business.
Nice. Great stuff. Um, we're coming halfway of summer. What are some projects or jobs people should be thinking about? So obviously, I hope you guys are following HH Remodeling on Instagram, and we just posted a video where you explain, if you want something done by Christmas, you got to start in July, right? So if you're looking to do, a dining room, or you're trying to have people over for Christmas, you should probably have this getting started in July. What projects in July we are? Well, I guess I just answered my own question, but what projects should people be thinking about right now to complete in 6 months? Like, what are the
Okay.
jobs? Like, obviously, you're not getting an outdoor kitchen right now. Summer's almost over, right? These, like, what are the jobs that people are thinking about today?
Well, and that's the problem, is the logic is, because if you wait till next June or May to ask me for your outdoor kitchen, you've missed the window.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you in December asking me about your outdoor kitchen, but I want you right now asking me for things that you'd like to get done over the winter. So maybe this is a good winter to finish your basement.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is a good winter to renovate your kitchen. Maybe you don't entertain for the holidays, so you're waiting for the kids to go back to college, and in the fall or winter, you okay with knocking out that bathroom renovation because you have 2 less people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So bathrooms, kitchens, finished basements are great projects to start in November, December, January, February even. We're good. But if you're looking for next spring, you got it in your head. Oh, I can't wait till next spring. We're going to do that addition. We're going to do that outdoor patio. We're going to build that gazebo. Don't wait till spring. Talk to your contractor in the fall and the winter. Always try to talk 2 seasons ahead of when you'd like to do the job, because that's the prepare that we're always trying to get the word out about.
Awesome. Great stuff. What else is on the top of your mind, Norm? What's going on?
Nothing. The economy. We get mixed signals from the press. Everybody was, are we in a recession? Are we heading to a recession? All I know is the building industry. I can only speak to that. I'm not an expert in anything else, and we are still slammed. We get 4 or 5 sets of blueprints, sent to us every week for bids. The phone is still ringing off the hook for kitchens and bathrooms. Those seem to be the bread and butter jobs. So we're super busy. So, we want you to plan ahead and get a hold of us as soon as possible, so that we don't like to say no, right? We want to say yes to everybody. We want your money, frankly, too. But we do want to make you happy. We like making people happy. That's part of the gig. So, we don't, when you call me and you say, hey, Norm, it's July now. I'd like to start this bathroom renovation in September. That doesn't seem crazy, right? That would seem normal. But we're super swamped in this industry, and we also have a really good reputation. So maybe we're a little more busy. I tell people, put percentages in your head when you're picking your contractor. We maybe you get a few bids, and maybe we're 10% more than another contractor, but maybe we're 50% better. So if we're, we might cost 10% more, but I think we might be 50 or 75 or 100% better than that competition. So let that be a factor. And that's why you got to get ahead of yourself, get ahead of the game, and contact people way in advance of when you want to do your projects. Otherwise, we can't help you.
Yeah. And especially since, you're not just a one-trick pony. You have a whole team that works seamlessly together to take care of all your needs, electricians, plumbers. So the whole job and project's done. So I much rather have, someone taking care of everything as a whole. You're not chasing down people. Oh, we did this part, but now we're just waiting for the electrician to come and show up. Where's your electrician? You know what I mean? Where you're handling everything, and you have a good relationship with your A team that, all peace of mind, everything's working seamlessly.
Yeah, look, there's certain projects that are good for a do-it-yourselfer, and there's certain projects that aren't. And whenever you're going to GC a job yourself, and what I mean by that is you're going to do a renovation, say a kitchen, and you're going to hire your own electrician, and you're going to hire your own plumber, and you're going to hire a cabinet guy, and you're going to hire a demolition team, or you're going to demo it yourself, or whatever that is. You're going to hire a painter at the end. That's fine, but I wouldn't tackle that if you don't have some experience in doing project management of that level. It's tough. There's a little babysitting involved. I got to be honest. I mean, we try to hide that. We, as a general contractor, we're putting ourselves as the face. You're talking to just us. We're in charge. We take all the credit when it looks great, and we take all the blame if something goes wrong. So if a plumber makes a mistake or a tile installer makes a mistake, we don't say, the plumber made a mistake. No, you didn't hire the plumber. You hired me. So we own the mistake. We fix the mistake, and we take all the credit when it's great. But what you don't see behind the scenes is guys don't show up for work sometimes. You don't see that, subcontractors maybe tell a fib that they're going to start on Tuesday, and then they really don't start till Thursday. And we have to act as a buffer between managing that job and making sure that what we say to the homeowner comes true. So I don't recommend general contracting yourself if it's a project that involves more than 1 or 2 trades. It just becomes too complicated, and you're going to learn the hard way. What we do has a value for a reason. There is some expertise. We're not just some a group of people making money on top of everybody else making money. They're managing this process requires knowledge. It requires knowing a little bit about everybody's trade to make sure that the plumber's doing it right. Because if you just trust everybody to do it right, well, then you wouldn't need general contractors or project managers.
Awesome. Great stuff. Anything coming up? Any events? Any things that you got going on that you want to let people know about?
No, you know what? Summer's pretty quiet. We got a lot of people taking vacations. I have a family vacation coming up. So nothing to really advertise for right now. We just want everybody to have a great and safe and happy summer, and start thinking about your winter projects. That's the message for today.
Awesome. Great stuff. Anything else we want to touch base on?
I'm good, my friend. This is a good show.
Stuff. Absolutely. So thank you, everyone from the Renovation Nation, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the ReModCast.